This is Lisbeth Calandrino from Women of the Flooring Business, and I'm excited today because whenever it involves training, I'm in. So today I have Mark Farnsworth, and Mark has written a book, and I just want to show you so you can see it, your complete guide, your complete flooring guide. And if you look in the chat box, I have put the link to purchase the book. Anyway, I put some things up there for you we're going to talk about briefly, and just give us a line or two about what you've been doing, Mark, for the last 20 years.
Okay. For the last 20 years, I started in a family business. I then went into corporate sales with Beaulieu Carpet Industries as a manufacturer's rep. My sister is one of the startups with Microsoft. So we actually developed a advertising program 10 years ago for the floor covering business called One Source Flooring, and developed into me working for Floor Covering Weekly. After working for Floor Covering Weekly, I decided to go back home, stay home, and I ran a 5-store retail chain. That led to me writing this manual. This manual is intended for not only the new salespeople that don't have any idea about our business, they need trained, but also the old salespeople that have been in our business a while and need further training on the new products and developments as products are introduced.
Okay, so, why write a book like this? You see, I wrote something like this probably 30 years ago, and it takes a lot of time and, oh my heavens, and things keep changing. So I just want to add that you're probably going to give out some updates when, you've got another book in the works, right? So you're going to give some updates, maybe a year or so and I'm going to put some sales in there for you, right?
That is correct. That's why I wanted to partner with the Women of the Floor Covering Business. The women of the floor covering business actually drive our business. They're the ones that are updated on the new trends, colors. So with your advice and your opinions of what's happening out there, we do want to update our manual and keep it up to date, in a format that will work for you all.
Now, I just want to bring this up a few times, but I want to say it now. The price of the book is ridiculous. I feel like I'm selling my pillow. It is so for $50. I mean, you can buy them for everybody in your store. So everybody has their own copy. And also, I'm going to review a few highlights with you. But the other thing is that you are doing a half-hour free consultation.
Yes.
The only people that get that are if they buy it through our link on the bottom, which says Floorcoveringbasics, Lisbeth Calandrino. And also, you get 14 videos with this, right?
That is correct. When I got my book placed at Ohio State University, the professors told me, we have a lot of children today that want to learn online. With the addition of the 14 videos, and that is an introductory price, by the way, because Elizabeth did mention that. It's only an introductory price because of the fact we know the book is valued a lot more than $50. That's for sure. But the videos will help you. The way I look at it is it's more like a personal trainer to try to lose weight or compared to losing on your own.
Right. I think the in-house consultation and the $50 price list is only available through the end of the month of August, correct?
That is correct, because of the fact that we do want to offer that as an introductory price, and it's really just to get started till the end of August, then we are going to have to update and change it. Yes.
Okay, again, so all of you can see, whoops, you can if I can get it in the right place. This is Mark's Your Complete Guide to Flooring. Now, I want to review a few highlights with you because of course, we've been talking about this for months and I've been reading it with you. So some highlights like page 21, 22, 23, they're all about measuring. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, here's what I have found out. The industry is moving to this laser measuring, which is phenomenal. I ran a 5-state chain. We used it because you could add pictures, things like that. But my concern is, if you drove an hour away from home and you happen to leave your laser at home, what are you going to do? I can go to the local hardware and buy a physical tape measure, draw pictures, and came home with the sale. I'm not dependent on, and if you get into a job site situation where you're actually working with the installers on a roll of carpet, that laser is not going to do you one bit of good. You're going to have to learn how to measure properly with a tape measure. We have a very unique section in there on page 21 that Elizabeth will touch on. But if you're selling remnants, it will mark right in there. A 13 by 16 requires a 12 by such and such. It's a fast way to deal with a consumer when they walk in the store. You can instantly use my cheat sheet chart and say anything on the wall 12 by 19 or bigger works.
Well, another thing about that is having had 7 carpet and furniture stores, but one of the things I know is that the installers, everybody knows how to measure right off the bat, except the salespeople, because they haven't been trained and they haven't been out on a job. So I like your idea. Just throw it in the car and maybe do some trial runs like in the store and figure out how to measure and figure out how to do it, because it is, it's not that simple. Understanding each product has a different way that you measure and how much you need to order. So now let's talk about, this always got to me, and I'm so glad you've included it. It's the transitions. 44, I never knew. I'm telling you, I would pretend I did. It took me a long time to know one transition from another. And it's critical, because if you don't have the end caps or the transitions, it looks terrible. And women will notice.
Exactly right. Here's what we ran in our 5-state chain location. We did a lot of cash and carry. And when somebody comes in and purchases cash and carry, and I know they're going to need transitions. So by utilizing the manual, I have a full picture of all the transitions. That way you bring the customer over, you show them the manual. What does your floor look like? That way, when you go home, you have the proper transition that's going to work. I encouraged every one of my measure people was provided with that transition page and said, don't go out there and bring me the wrong transition and I have to go back later and replace it because you didn't do your job.
And that happens all the time. And it's just because people aren't used to it and they don't know what they are. I mean, I've been teaching the classes again this year. And so I've had to learn them, and it's been terrific. By the way, everybody, if you're out there, this is Mark Farnsworth, and we have his book with your complete flooring guide. We have a link at the bottom that has my name on it that you can order it. And Mark will give you a free consultation, and there's 14 videos that you can get after this. So, like I say, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want at least one in your car. Now, let's talk about why anybody cares about face white. We're starting to sell more carpet, aren't we? Which is terrific.
Yes, actually, where I live, which is in Ohio, we are still in a cold state. So a lot of people do still buy carpet in Ohio. And in Ohio, your box stores and people like that are deceiving people with face weights, ounce weights, and they're using that as a comparison. Here's what I say. Don't allow the internet to be smarter than you. Know what a face weight actually means, what it transitions to, and what the true performance of that product and face weight is. Yes, twist factors, things like that are a major part of our industry, but if they're going to advertise face weights, know how to combat it so that you can sell the right product.
I like your statement about don't let the internet be smarter than you, because we're all confronted with that in business every day. The customer read something online, and I think it's really important that as a salesperson that you'll be able to take those questions. And, in order for a customer to make a decision, they don't need tons of information, but the salesperson has to know everything about a product, because they have to figure out, what am I going to tell them? You never know, right? What question the customer is going to give you. So you have to be knowledgeable on everything. And I'm looking at how many pages we got here. We got 23 pages, this book. There's lots. I like, here's some pictures of products too that you have. And remember, we know that things change every day, but you can't change it every day. But at this point, this is going to give you lots of information. I like the things on warnings about technology, about how things are written for you. And I'm understanding about the underlayment. Underlayment is critical, right? Tell us
That
why.
is correct, because a lot of people, a salesman will come in and talk about these ratings, and most of the salespeople just nod their head because they have absolutely no idea what an STC rating is or an IIC rating or anything of that nature. We have a complete chart in there that was produced by floor covering experts that tells you the proper underlayment for the proper conditions. Here's what I tell everybody. Yes, the same product that works in Michigan does not work in Arizona. So you have to apply the correct application, which means the correct product in the correct situation. And if you use the wrong underlayments or something of that nature, it's just going to create a problem that was not needed in the first place. You have to have the proper information.
Could you give us a little bit of information about the videos? Like,
yes,
what's in those videos? How long are they? And they could use those for training, right? That'd be a good start.
Yes. The reason I truly made the videos was really for the sales managers to train his people. I was so frustrated as a sales manager. I would have a whole team of salesmen get together, and I might bring in a manufacturer's rep, and they're tapping each other saying, you have a piece of paper so I can make notes and things of that nature. That's ridiculous. If you have a manual in your hands, you make the notes right in that manual. The reason for the videos is most of my videos are only an 8-minute video, but it talks about the next chapter you're going to read, what's important in the next chapter to really, really pay attention to. It's not a training video, something like Elizabeth might make. It's more an introduction of what you're going to learn in that next chapter. That's why the half hour, when I give you a half hour of my time, it's really to teach you. A book doesn't do any good unless you know how to navigate through it and understand it and what's important to you.
If you're out there listening and you want to put something in the chat box, go ahead. Again, I have noted in the chat box some highlights that we have discussed. Also, I have in there the link that you can put in so that you can get the book and you can get the consultation. So you've got 8-minute videos, which is 32, 112, 100. It's like a couple hours worth of videos that you can do a little bit at a time, because most retailers don't have enough time to let their salespeople sit and train all day. But I'm thinking a short one like that is really good, right?
Absolutely. And the problem that I have is when I would have reps come in, they would only be very biased about their product. They wouldn't tell you any disadvantages to it. They would only tell you the positives. You have to look at my book as being very biased. I don't recommend any product. I just tell you how a product is manufactured, how the product's going to perform, and what situation that product actually works in. That's the non-biased part of this book. If a mill or a manufacturer writes the book, they lean towards their products compared to the competition's.
I think it's important that everybody does know that that's impartial. All you're actually doing, we're talking about product knowledge and explaining how a product is made. That information, your salesperson can use, and then they can look at the products that your reps bring in. So they have a comparison without having to ask the rep, like you said, what are the disadvantages of this product, which you might not get so many from the product rep. But in your book, you've got things they can compare it to, right? So there it is for you when you're out on the sales floor. And listen, not only salespeople, this is a terrific book for managers, for owners, and for installers. One of the things I find about installers, they work all day, and, they don't get updates. They don't have information about products. And sometimes you run into trouble, right, as a retailer, because you don't know what you don't know what you don't know, as they say, which is, very important.
That is correct. Even when I was at my store, the installers actually tried to run my store and tell me things that I knew they had no idea what they were talking about. So I would have to not only correct my salespeople that sold the product in the wrong area, but I had to correct my installer. And I would say, you knew this product wasn't going to work. Why did you put it down? Why didn't you call me and say we have a possible moisture problem out here or a possible situation? We would have stopped and corrected it before we created all this lost money and lost time.
Well, I believe that's another thing that you need to do to educate the people that work for you. You know, as the owner, you need to be in charge of this. And sometimes, excuse me, they're not. Only because, again, lack of time, small stores, whatever. Okay, so everybody out there, I am interviewing Mark Farnsworth and his book, Your Complete Flooring Guide, which is available to you through my link. So the link is down at the bottom, and you get 14 videos with this to go right along, 8-minute videos. So you can use the videos, you can use the book, and Mark is going to give you, through us, we're so glad we connected with you, Mark, because it's really terrific that you're going to give that to the women of the flooring business. He'll give you a half-hour consultation. And, you know, if you want to do something past that, you can work it out. But you can tell that you're an industry expert. And, you know, we all need people who are out there looking for new things and trying to keep us up to date. So, and that's why you wrote the book, right, Mark?
That is correct. But yet again, you guys are on the front lines every day. As you hear of new products and new things that would help our manual and increase our women of the floor covering industry's knowledge, we need that feedback. Myself and the group, Elizabeth, we will take that feedback and we will introduce it as updates to the book. We specifically made our book in a spiral format. It is not hard bind. This way we can take the book apart. As new products are introduced, we can add them and keep continuously adding videos and updates and training. This is really why I partnered with Women of the Floor Covering Industry. I need some experts out there to help me increase the knowledge that you are going to need in the field.
There's something else that I want to relate to this morning, which is on page 58, which has to do with a measure checklist for hardwood. And we know they all need measure checklists. And if you don't have one, this is certainly a good start for you. So that's on that page, and it's just filled with stuff that I've forgotten. The other thing is, Mark, is there a phone number? Just give them a phone number that they can call you at. And by the way, if you're watching this and you want, you can put something in the chat for us and we'll try to answer it. Mark, what is your phone number?
My phone number is 330
yes
704 6497
6497, and you are in Ohio, right?
That's Eastern Standard Time. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. And I want to touch a little bit about that checklist that Elizabeth had mentioned. That's truly for your measurement. Everything said in that store should go on that checklist. The color, the metal, who's taking up the old carpet. Document everything so that we can run that checklist. For it makes everyone's life easier.
You have to have a checklist. It really will stop problems, not every problem, but the more things you put on your checklist. Someone said to me the other day, well, what do I know what to put on there? Well, you put on there all the things that happened, like the cold base didn't get out there. They forgot to ask about who's going to move the furniture. As soon as you have an issue, right, Mark?
That is correct.
Your checklist.
And I held my salespeople accountable for that, because if I had to pay extra because you didn't mark it on there, you know, that's your fault, not my fault.
Well, your phone number is going across the screen right now. I'm sure you can see that. So you want to just give us a little wrap up, because we're almost out of time, 1 minute or two.
A little wrap up. The number one thing I'm going to leave you with is, do not let the internet be smarter than you. Everybody's on the internet. They're giving you false information. Be the pro. Pull the manual out and say, these are the true facts from the flooring industry.
I'm writing that in the chat box now. Don't let the internet be smarter than you. Get a hold of Mark. There's the link at the bottom on the middle of the page so that you can order. It has my name in it. So you can
Yes.
go ahead and order it. Remember, you're going to get your 14 videos. They're 8 minutes long, which is terrific. You know, somebody on their lunch hour could watch 8 minutes of a video, right?
That is correct.
And also, Mark is going to give you a half-hour consultation. It could be Mark. Mark could say, Liz, I want you to do this for me, and I'll do it for him. So, and I love those 14 videos. I know how hard it is to do all this. This is so much work, Mark.
Thank you.
$50, for goodness sakes, you know?
Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity today. I'm with the best I could choose. Thank you.
You're very nice. Thank you so much. I'm putting the price in there for the book over on the side.
And that does include the freight.
Huh?
So that's freight included. That's delivered right to your door.
Right to your door.
Every salesman should have one.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.